Guys, how you doing? Today we have a long-awaited video, for me anyways. We're going to be trying Hourglass Universe palette on one side and Hourglass Universe Unlocked on the other side. We're going to see demo, application, swatches. We're going to find out if indeed Hourglass heard our prayers, if they made the deep palette more inclusive. Is this gonna work for deeper complexion? All that good stuff. If you're excited and this is your first time here, I'm Gigi. I am a registered nurse obsessed with skincare, beauty, and makeup. Here on my channel, I love to share my first impressions on high-end and luxury makeup. If you love that kind of thing, go ahead and click on the red button that says subscribe, and also go to my Instagram because over there I do keep you posted on the newest and the latest. But without further ado, let's start. Okay guys, so let's get started, and today we're going to be doing a side-by-side on the two holiday palettes by Hourglass. I already reviewed the Universe one, which is meant for fair, light, and medium complexions, and I was waiting for my deeper palette, so that's why I couldn't review them side-by-side at that time. If you're interested in that video, I'll link it above. Little disclaimer, people didn't seem to understand why I was reviewing that palette, even though it wasn't tailored for my complexion. I still wanted to get it. I thought that the blushes looked beautiful. I still wanted to do a side-by-side, and because I didn't have this one at the time, I just went ahead and reviewed this one. That's it. Please don't come for me in the comments. I am well aware that this one is for, again, lighter complexions, and this one is for deeper complexions. So today we're going to indeed find out if they are. So this is what the Universe palette looks like. It has a pinkish marble look, and then the Unlocked, this is what the Unlocked looks like, is a bronzy shade, also marble but bronzed. So this is a look side by side. They're both encased in a tint. Last year you were able to open it and then you find the powders, and these will just stay up like this. This year's this tint is very heavy. It has a magnet here, so it's not gonna stay up like that. You still get the nice mirror and the powders inside. So let's take a look at the Universe palette first, which is meant for lighter complexions. In this palette you're going to get a finishing powder in the shade Infinity Powder. This is a pre-release product by Hourglass. They released in singles, and this is a finishing all over the face kind of powder. Then we get two blushes. This one is in the shade Vibrant Rose, and this one is in Luminous Rose. Then we get a bronzer in Glistening Bronze Light, and we also get a Supernatural Strobe Light highlight. So this is what the Universe palette looks like in the inside. Let's take a look at the Universe Unlocked palette. This is what it looks like. In here we get a finishing powder in Radiant Light. We get a blush in Rose Heat. We get a Coral Flush blush. We get a bronzer in Radiant Bronze Light. And then we get a strobe powder in Solar Strobe Light. This is a quick look at the two palettes side by side. You can truly see that the light palette, you know, it looks lighter than the deep palette, especially the blushes. They look very vibrant in these deeper palettes. So let's go ahead and start the application, and my hair is out of the way. So I am going to take this powder. I already set my face, but I want to show you what this powder looks like all over the face in my complexion. This Infinity powder is definitely not my favorite. I feel like it just looks ashy on me. It doesn't matter how much I blend it, it's just not very flattering. So this is not a powder that I love, and I mentioned that on my previous video. Now I'm just trying to blend it. It is way too glowy as well, so as a finishing powder it's not going to be my choice. Let's move on to the bronzer, which is this one right here. I am going to use a BK 107, and I am going to apply it to my face. You can see that it looks very pretty, very natural because it's super soft. It leans a little bit like rose goldy on my complexion. So this is what the bronzer looks like. I had to really build up this bronzer to get it to, you know, this amount of pigment. I think I went with like 3 or 4 layers, but this is what we get. You can totally see the difference. It shows up, but I just have to build it up. If I want a natural bronzer, then this is going to be good for me. Then I am going to apply this shade here. I'm going to apply it higher on my cheekbone area, and these blushes are beautiful. I really like the blushes in this compact. And then I'm going to apply the bottom one. So I'm just mixing the 2 shades together. Like, it is beautiful. I feel like the 2 blushes is like my favorite thing out of, you know, the compact in here. Let's go ahead and apply the highlighter. The highlighter is one of those very, very natural ones. I don't particularly love it. I don't know. I just, it's like it's an okay highlighter. I don't hate it. I don't love it. But this is what it look like with the Universe shade on. I think it's really, really pretty. Again, my favorite part are the blushes, and I feel like it makes everything look a little bit better. Now I'm excited. I'm excited to try the deep palette. So we're gonna start off with their finishing powder, which is the longer one here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just gonna apply it to set pretty much all over my face. I'm gonna use it everywhere. This gives a beautiful, soft focus effect to my complexion. Oh, I love this. I love this shade. It is very flattering in my opinion. It doesn't have shimmer. It doesn't have any glitter. I don't see any aspects of anything. Yeah, the other one was too much. So if you're not into glowy things, yeah, stay away from that one in the Universe palette. But this, I feel like, is very flattering. It really catches the light good for my complexion. So I went ahead and wiped my BK Beauty brush and I'm going to go ahead and apply the bronzer. So, moment of truth. I can see that this bronzer leans a little bit gold. And the other one was a little bit rosy, but I don't feel like it's doing much on my complexion. Let's see how many layers we can apply. It's my 3rd one. It is pretty. It gives a beautiful, look at that radiance, but it's not doing much bronzing. This is what the bronzer looks like after maybe like 7 layers. No kidding. It's beautiful. It gives me a beautiful golden finish. Look at that. Because I always bring my bronzer a little bit higher on my temple. But it is beautiful, but it's not doing much sculpting, much bronzing whatsoever. I feel like it's sort of like a pretty highlighter. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, let's move on to the blushes. I am going to go ahead into this deep magenta shade. And then I am going to apply the lighter one. These are very, very pigmented. I'm just applying a little bit because I don't want to end up with clown cheeks. But look at this blush combined with the bronzer. It looks really, really beautiful. I feel like this side, everything just looks so cohesive. It's so soft and pretty. Yeah, I'm digging these blushes. They're beautiful. Okay. And last but not least, let me wipe my brush a little bit. I'm gonna go into the highlighter. This is a beautiful golden highlighter. Ooh, it's pretty. Look at that. Alrighty friends, so I went ahead and sprayed my face with Charlotte's setting spray. I let my makeup settled in for maybe like 10 minutes, and now I'm back to give you my final thoughts on these powders. Alright guys, so what do we think? I have the Unlocked on this side and I have the Universe on this side. Thoughts? Comments? What do we think? I have mine made up already. I don't really like the Universe palette for medium tan and deeper complexions. I just feels like the Infinity powder really ruins it for us. It's just too ashy, too grayish on medium complexions and higher. If you are fair, light, medium complexion, have you tried the Infinity powder? What do we think of this powder? Do you like it? Do you think it's too glowy, or do you like it as a finishing powder? Because again, I don't like it because of the tone, the ashy tone that it gives me, but I'm not sure. Maybe people with lighter complexion may appreciate that. I really feel like everything here, like the other 4 powders, are beautiful. The highlighter is beautiful. It's very natural, but it's just not very complementary to my skin tone. I feel like it's just too, I don't know, like just too rosy, too gray looking on me. The blushes here, they're beautiful, and the bronzer, it just gives me a beautiful soft application. If I want super soft makeup, I feel like this is good for me. But yeah, definitely now that I've tried the Unlocked, this is not my favorite palette from their holiday. I don't think this is very flattering on me, and I'm ready to return the Universe palette. So now let's talk about the Unlocked. I feel a little bit devastated, to be honest. I feel like they tried, but they didn't. They really failed us because of the bronzer. I feel like everything here is just beautiful, but this is not a bronzer for a deep palette at all. I know that it has veins on it. I know that it may look different for some people, but this just looks like a highlighter on me. It's so bizarre. We're gonna do swatches in a minute, but truly, you guys, this is just a beautiful golden highlighter. I forgot to use this as a finishing powder after I applied my blush and everything. So I'm gonna take my Sonia Phase 1, which is sort of like a flat top brush, and then I'm gonna take the powder and just buff everything so that the bronzer will just melt and all products will just look very soft and natural. And I love this finishing powder. I think it's very beautiful, really complementary to my complexion, and it just looks very natural. It made my blush just sit so much more natural than it did before, because I like a blushy look. I want to apply more blush. So just right here. But anyhow, I really like this finishing powder. I think it's very complementary to medium complexions and medium tan complexions like me. And probably tan complexions too, because I don't feel like it has a ton of color and it blends beautiful on you know, on the face. But if you're deep complexion, I don't think this is gonna work for you. If you're deep complexion, if you're tan complexion, these bronzer didn't even work for me. So yeah, like they tried, but they didn't really try. If you look at the palette side by side, as I mentioned, you could tell that this is you know, it's lighter. These blushes are much more deep, and they look much brighter than the ones in the Universe palette. I feel like this bronzer was a huge disappointment. As I said, I feel like they did try coming out with 2 palettes, but they didn't, because why would they give us such a light bronzer in here? This doesn't, I feel like the Universe palette showed up more than this one. This is very golden in tone, so it really like disappears on my complexion, right? Because I'm so golden, and because this one is a little bit more pinkish and reddish in tone, it showed up more. I don't understand this bronzer at all. I don't understand why they didn't just give us a deep bronzer, something that will show up on deeper complexions. If this was meant to be the deep palette, this is not a bronzer for a deep palette. Everything else works. Everything else is beautiful. I just love this side of my face. I feel like it looks so soft, so pretty. It looks very flattering. You know, it's just everything that I want on an Hourglass palette. But the bronzer was just a big miss for me. Alright guys, so here are some swatches of the 2 palettes. Up to here, we have here the Universe palette, and from the highlighter on, we have the Unlocked palette. So here we have the finishing powder from the Unlocked, the 2 blushes, bronzers, the bronzer, which I had to do maybe like 3 or 4 layers, and then that beautiful highlighter is also part of the Unlocked. And then we have this shade in the Universe palette, Universe 2 blushes. Look at the bronzer. The bronzer is, as I said, it just shows up much more than the one in the Unlocked palette. And then the highlighter. So just for fun, let's swatch side by side the bronzers, shall we? So I'm gonna take the Universe palette on my middle finger, and then I'm gonna take the Unlocked on this finger. So middle finger is the Universe, and then this is the Unlocked. Can you see that the Unlocked palette is lighter on my complexion? It just is. This one is the Universe palette swatch, which I mentioned is a little bit more rosy in tone, and then this one is the one in the Universe Unlocked, which is a little bit more golden in tone. But I feel like the Universe shade is deeper than the one in the Universe Unlocked. Let me know, what do you think? Am I crazy? Which one is darker? Do you think the Unlocked or the Universe palette bronzer is deeper? Comment down below, let me know. You saw my application, you saw what they both look like, you saw how I was able to build up the one in the Universe palette. I could not get for the life of me to build up the one in the Unlocked palette. Anyways friends, let's wrap up this video. I feel like the Universe Unlocked palette is a better buy. Even if you're fair complexion, if you're light complexion, if you're medium complexion, if you're medium to tan, and if you're tan complexion, I think this is a better buy. I feel like all these products are just very, very pretty. The bronzer, if you're fair, light, and medium, may work for you a little bit better than it did for me. For me, again, it's just that big miss. But other than that, if you take away the bronzer, everything else is just very, very pretty, very beautiful. It is still bittersweet to me, to be honest. It is bittersweet to recommend a palette and just feel this way, because if Hourglass released a deep palette, it was meant to work for deep complexions, and this just doesn't, in my opinion, because of the bronzer. I repeat, because of the bronzer. Everything else I feel like it will look beautiful on anyone pretty much. And the Universe palette, in my opinion, is a big miss as well because of this finishing powder. I just don't see how anyone could like it, even if you're fair complexion. I don't see how you want to set all over your face with such a glowy product. I don't think you should spend your money on the Universe at all. Doesn't matter your complexion. And I feel like you'll be happy with this one if you are lighter complexion, because every single shade will work on you. I don't think this will give you a lot of color. It may, if you're very fair, it may, but you just have to be very, very light-handed with it, and it may just work. Anyhow, I don't know, you guys. I feel like it's just, I feel disappointed. This is what I was so afraid to come in here and say. I'm truly speechless. I'm truly out of words, you guys. I don't know where to go from here. I am going to review volume 3 because I ordered it and I wanted to show you volume 1, 2, and 3. But to be honest, in my heart, I don't feel like I want to support this brand at all. I don't want to continue to, you know, make any more videos. I already said this before, and I was excited about, you know, I was excited about this palette. I was excited about the deep palette. I was excited for inclusivity, and I don't feel like we got in the inclusiveness that we were asking for. So anyways, drop me a comment. Let me know, what do you think? But keep in mind, I'm barely a medium tan complexion. I'm not even a tan person, and this is a deep palette. So thank you, friends, for loving, supporting. Please go ahead and check out my 5K giveaway video. It's going to be linked above. Go ahead and enter if you haven't done so yet, because it's going to close very, very soon. I love you all, and I catch you next one. Bye.